y'all, welcome to the channel. It is February 1st, 2026, and I'm back with a message. Please accept my apologies. I have the washing machine going and it is a little loud. I hope it's not too distracting for you. So that being said, here's the message. We've got some masculines out there talking about Cinderella. The Earth Angel was treated like the odd one out, the stepsister everyone hated. And all these nasty little hoe bags, they didn't think that you were worthy of the status that you are. It's like your royalty and your father passed away, some freaking woman who married your father or whatever, and then he passed away and then they just decided to treat you like shit. They might have even sacrificed you and then got rid of you. So it's like in a previous life or something, your father married a woman who had children, and then she did something to get rid of him in order to claim the wealth, and then it's like they sacrificed you. And they've been drawing off of you since then because they wanted to keep that wealth in their family, and they did not want you to come up and to be recognized or seen. You are a direct descendant, and these nasty POSs have been torturing you for a long time and wearing your energy and your face to try to frame you as a terrorist who is unworthy. So there's that. These masculines are saying that it is to honor the mother is idolatry, which is really strange because in their little book of instructions, it says that thou shalt honor thy father and mother. Yet, for some reason, honoring the Most High Mother Goddess is idolatry. Isn't that odd? They're a bunch of hypocrites who hate the mother. And they want to dress up in her energy and her authority and then claim that. The mother has rainbow covenant with God. He has renewed it recently when verified identity was managed. He chose her. So why would it be idolatry to honor the father and the mother that he chose as representative? Why would that be idolatry when God himself has placed her in this position and walks with her in every moment of every day? Somebody is saying that she is balancing things out and she just needs an opportunity. The other day, they said that she needed her energy to heal the planet, and these fellas want to say that she is incapable of managing her own energy. She's very, very powerful, but they want to use this energy to dominate others. And this energy that she is for restoration. And they're trying to convince everybody that she is not responsible enough to perform restoration. They have poisoned the entire planet and all of life upon it. And it's going to be very, very challenging for this Empress, High Priestess, Divine Mother to heal it. And these nasty jacks who have been terraforming the planet and CRISPR, genetically modifying all of life, are insisting that she cannot bring it back to health. Therefore, they should be able to continue on in their little journey here and keep it. This trafficker that I've come to know as the curator and all of his bro hoes, interdimensional bullshit artists wanting to collect the human woman. They call her a collector's item. And, these are not human beings. These are hybrids or cyborgs, whatever. So this trafficker wants to prostitute her essence, and others want her to keep her essence and be in purpose as planetary stabilizer and healer. It's what the creatress does on a small and a grand scale. But you've got these destroyers and dominators out there who don't want her to use her energy to undo the damage that they have done. These nasty jacks don't want healing. They want everybody sick, and they want everybody to go into one of their cyborg bodies is what they want. They want to trap the human soul and spirit in these artificial bodies. They see the power in this woman. She is an energizer, and these cyborgs need batteries in order to fuel their own um, mutation of life. They cut themselves off from the womb of power. And now they need to harvest the womb of power in order to make their life stable because they CRISPR'd themselves so freaking bad. They chose to blend with the AI system. And now they need this organic womb of power to be their antidote. They have separated themselves from life, and they need the power of the womb in order to pretend as though they still have life. They claim and they want to cast the illusion that she's incapable of managing herself properly, but only she can manage this energy properly. They've nearly destroyed the entire planet and many of the universal systems with her energy. Last time they convinced people she was not capable of mending the damage that they have organized and orchestrated. They feel that they should be able to harness her power and use it to dominate others. True leadership is about restoration, not dominion. True leadership comes from the mother who creates life and then nurtures it, and should it become ill, she restores it. These masculines don't want life restored. They want to unalive as many people as possible and then get this terraformed planet built with an AI sort of technology blend. There's a bunch of masculines who want to make her a wife to heal with her. And others hate her personality and they just want to harvest her life force and silence her. A masculine is talking about astral projecting into a woman who advertises herself by speaking freely, openly, and transparently. An oracle, a prophetess, an obvious queen bee powerhouse. They're talking about the secretary. Christy Nome is a secretary. The new ICE leadership is Charles Wall. Apparently, they are in charge of this Operation Metro Surge, which is apprehending undocumented immigrants. Marco Rubio is about the foreign policy. There's something being said about Donald Trump, and I wasn't able to hear that. So they're talking about the secretary, which one I don't know, and Donald Trump. The curator is talking about a female needing 2 hip replacements. And they're talking about getting her into the hospital because once they anesthetize you, they can inject you and do whatever they want. They can call you brain dead and then harvest your organs and just make you disappear once they get you in the hospital. There's some masculines saying that they have to do something. They have to do something. Apparently, everybody that has been flipping and copycatting people in the upper dimensional spaces that never actually earned the right to be in these upper dimensional spaces, who are wearing other people's harvested memories, identities, and soul value, are getting prostituted now. Because that was the life that the harvested sacrifice was forced into while they enjoyed the heaven and the ascension reward that they did not earn. They stole from somebody else. These low vibrational entities are red rumming, harvesting souls, going into these upper dimensional spaces to create war there. Every nasty thing that was ever done to these sacrifices that were held back, the true graduate, is now being done to these frauds. The curator is talking to someone saying she's the only one who has control of herself. They want to do a transfer. Somebody who has a lot of wealth, a lot of authority, covenants, contracts, agreements, they want these powers. And they mean to harvest the identity and present themselves as such. These are nasty parasitical entities with access to too much technological advancements. And there's too many muscles on that man suit, that vessel that they have been using to overpower the weaker forms, using the image of the Father to torture women and children, sexually and otherwise. They want this divine mother energy. They want to command this woman's gifts, influences, and voice in the world. There's one masculine asking another if she has the markings. This is an actual descendant of a royal family who this father was taken out by an evil stepmother. And this Cinderella was traumatized and treated very badly before they unalived her and stole all of the wealth. They wanted this woman to remain hidden in the forest and the shadows. They never wanted her to be seen or recognized because they wanted to maintain the wealth and the status of this royal family, which they were never part of. They were only included because of a marriage to a man that they red rummed. And then they red rummed his daughter. We've got false royalty out there that are a bunch of red rumming thieves, witches and sorcerers, claiming divinity when they're only a vampire. It's like this masculine had a lower vibrational feminine that he wanted to bring up by sacrificing this divine feminine. He's being instructed to leave her there and to choose somebody else. He's upset about it. He has a lower vibrational woman that he really likes. She's got the perfect kind of nasty, whatever. And he wanted to bring her up into these upper dimensional spaces, but they have not earned this space. We've got some frauds, some moles, some masculines in these upper dimensional realms wearing another person's soul value and identity, and they are scamming and scheming on how to get this magistrates out of this territory. So she's got threats, masculine threats embedded in the territory. They're saying that these ones are imposters. So yes, this masculine, they're saying that these ones are imposters in the upper dimensional space. However, they are wearing the spiritual gifts and the energy that belonged to their sacrificed victims that they were going to use to replace with their lower vibrational gal. These men are imposters and moles, and they're trying to marry into a family in these upper dimensional spaces so that they can then sacrifice that woman and bring up this lower vibrational entity and allow her to wear the face and the energy and the identity of this actual divine being. We've got some men in this space who are sacrificing divine feminines and replacing them with lower vibrational copycats. They need to be investigated and found out. These are frauds, lower vibrational devils dressed up in the identity and the powerful energy and gifts of a sacrifice. These are not the true identities of these men. There are a number of these imposter masculines trying to overtake these upper dimensional realms by marrying into the clan and then sacrificing their spouse and then bringing up another low vibrational entity into this upper dimensional space. So they've been doing this for thousands of years. I would gather that there's probably the majority of these people in these upper dimensional spaces are the frauds, because the true divine beings have been sacrificed and stuck into these lower dimensional spaces. By the way, I think most of them have been discovered and found and risen. Claimed by God. We've got uninvited guests in these upper dimensional territories. They all want to snatch up the oracles that can see into their evil deeds and the reality of their fraudulent presence there and the practices that they are doing there. You're speaking openly about their deceitful intent upon the people and the realm in order to flop in order to raise up the lower vibrational devils, and then by sacrificing these upper dimensional brides and husbands into that space. They want to silence and terrorize the oracles, alerting the people, warning the people, trying to protect the souls of the people. They can see clearly who is a liar and who is true. They want to shut them up before these hidden collective masculines, these moles, get revealed and identified. They got to shut up the oracles. They got to remove these upper dimensional women, and they got to silence them by marrying them and then sacrificing them and replacing them. They're calling a feminine an aristocrat, which is a member of a hereditary landed and privileged upper class, historically serving as the ruling elite just below the monarch. You are a daughter of a king or an emperor who married a woman with children. They unalived him. And then this Cinderella was abused and then sacrificed and kept hidden in the shadows in a status of low vibrational suffering. They kept layering this person in the blame and the shame of their own perverted orgy, freaking thieving, freaking red rumming, these blood rituals that they were doing with pets and animals and people, in order to trap and keep buried this aristocrat, this daughter of a monarch. You are the real royalty, loyal and royal, a sacrificed, sanitized princess who was replaced, deceitfully convicted of false crimes, and thrown out of this upper dimensional space, while the pimps who framed you went to town, selling the essence of your family's womb of power. Whoever was replacing you in that space at that time most likely also sacrificed your twin flame and replaced them. You are both risen. A direct descendant of royalty. Someone else here in the 3D space is wearing your identity. They're claiming royalty, and they are not. One of them is talking about her, this newly resurrected, risen, rainbow covenant holder, this magistrate. They're saying that every time they concentrate on her and focus in their words, their spells, their curses, that their destiny swap, whatever, their words of personal failure, she alchemizes it. Good. May they eat every foul word and intention that they have tried to curse her with. And may they suffer every suffering that they have tried to speak over her life. These masculines are talking about transporting her. Somebody is asking another if she is a masturbator. These energetic releases during sleep time or whenever is used as an energy for false contract in the 4D. They cast the illusion that they actually had an sexual encounter with you when you orgasm through masturbation. In the night, they like to play with your energies so that this happens, and then they can gather that energy and then cast the magical illusion that somehow there was a contract managed in the 4D, and then they never show up in the 3D. They just harvest your spiritual inheritance and then keep you single and pull from your womb of power, and then dress up their actual chosen one who does not have the beautiful energy that you have. They need the finances from your energy, but they don't actually like you or want to show up in a 3D and spend time with you. So they falsify a marriage contract through a rabid and freaking bastard priest in the 4D to trap your spiritual inheritance, your wealth, and any kind of authority that you're about to come into. These priests have been doing this for centuries to tie up the wealth of the divine feminine, the mother, without ever actually having to show up. These are filthy rat bastards, red rumming thieves, false contracted sorcerers. These are mostly gay men from another dimensional space, simply here to harvest the womb of power and to use that temple as a bridge and a connector to the upper dimensional Star Nation soul tribe, and then try to flip and copycat people up there by marrying into that space. These fellows harness the orgasmic energy of a sleeper, sexual, whatever, dream, and they use it as a real, live, sexual encounter. You'll never meet this unseen masculine who gives you a masturbation dream or present as a dream lover. They use this to tap and tag the sacral chakra, to drain you of your spiritual inheritance, your God-given gifts, your powers, your clairs, and your hidden abilities, your soul value. They use this to bind you and hurt everyone that you love as you, so that they believe you to be a terrorist, a mean person. They want to frame you as that and keep you rejected from ascending into this upper dimensional space forever by consistently harnessing your initiation reward and your ascension reward at the crossroads, and then forcing you back through another life cycle of stagnation and suffering. They never want the true star or sun to get back up there in these upper dimensional spaces. They've been keeping you trapped in this rotation for centuries. One masculine is asking the curator if she lives by herself. In the past, they've been talking about dating you, while at the same time, a younger one was talking about getting a roommate, being a roommate with you. So we've got an older masculine and then a younger masculine lover who want to date you and then be a roommate with you, so that eventually when they get rid of you, they have your house and they can live in it and bunghole, cornholio each other till their heart's content. So the curator is saying that she's adamant about servitude. She's saying that they poisoned everybody and that the community isn't interested in receiving any servitude of any kind from this curator or his tribe. No, we are not interested in collaborating with these masculines who want us all dead. No. There's something about an algorithm, and again, they're talking about Sacagawea. They're saying someone or something is supernatural, and they can better believe it. We've got original people that have been emancipated from these deceitful convictions and these curses and hexes binding their bloodline, while these nasty freaking hybrid cornholio whatevers have been harvesting the wealth out of the entire bloodline of so many tribes of people. They thought that they had exterminated most of them while siphoning the wealth out of their Star Nation soul tribe, and they thought that that was gone forever. But this magistrate came up and God raised her up and then released everybody. These jackasses are out there trying to transfer a woman's soul value into themselves. These low vibrational pimps want to dress up in the energy and the gifts of a powerful queen bee. And they want to present themselves as that in the world. So then I had a tarot layout vision. People were trying to transfer your soul song into their own damn self. They want your soul song transferred into their own damn self. They want, when they sing, they want the universe to hear you. One masculine said to another, I won't go this way. Now, I don't know what that means. They won't go out this way. They won't go this way. They won't take a specific path. Another masculine said, you can't reason with her. These pimps who prostituted her energy for centuries, these pimps who swore that the babies that came from her womb would be sacrificed, and that's what they've been doing for thousands of years with the babies that come from the womb of the mother in all of her different aspects. They've been terrorizing the souls of Star Nation families and tribes because this powerful woman was not in agreement with them. So way freaking back in the beginning, they betrayed her and God, who actually matched her with this protector, who then betrayed her and has been cursing her forever and ever and ever. You got Lilith, you got Sophia. This has been happening forever. Medusa. They're all fraudulent stories about their them being evil or prostitutes. They were victims of brutalizer masculine thieves and their female catfish. So I won't go this way, he said. So he's either avoiding a pathway or he's not going to go a particular format or whatever. And you can't reason with her. Now, I don't know why they would expect her to reason with them or to show diplomacy or to share any kind of charity whatsoever with them when they've been prostituting everybody, acting like pimps rather than brother, husband, father, or friend. These gigolos indulged in the suffering of others. And they're talking about pushing the button. They need to do a reset. The feminine doesn't believe them anymore. The masculines are understanding that they've been putting atrazine into the waters to confuse their gender and then to make them their bitch, to make sure that these divine feminines don't have anybody willing to protect them. So they're going to push the button. They're talking about the United States of America. They want to drop bombs on America. America, as far as I know, on November 1st, I believe it was, I woke to the words, "This, you are now in Egypt." So America, as far as I know, is now Egypt. And we had Anat, show up to the transfer that was occurring the other day, this land transfer, wealth transfer, and they quickly ushered her out, according to witnesses. And this is not acceptable, for the mother is the unifier, and she's residing in Egypt. And these cornholios have ushered out Anat, a freaking daughter of Aman. What are you doing? What are you doing? So they usher her out. They treat her as an outcast, judge her without any kind of evidences about anything. And then they come back in and expect to be given charity, expect to be accepted and receive blessings. They falsely accuse and throw out an innocent person, and then they expect to receive a reward. These masculines are saying she has no idea how powerful she is. So God knows how powerful she is. God gave her the Rainbow Covenant, made her the universal gatekeeper. She's a healer, a planetary stabilizer. This was her role in the very beginning, and these cornholio, nasty freaking Jezebels unalived her and then decided to try to destroy everything so that they could just have a freaking whorehouse and F everybody. She's not a destroyer, even though they tried to turn her into a malicious, vengeful woman by making war with her in her mind for centuries. She's still a loving, powerful, upper dimensional queen. These Azas want her essence in order to dominate others. But this potent essence is needed to bring forth life, resurrection. They don't want resurrection. They don't want restoration. They don't want health and healing. They want sickness, toxicity, and sick care. Poisonous medicines used as bridges and connectors into the mind, into the consciousness of the soul and spirit within a flesh temple. And then they use that flesh temple and the consciousness in it as a bridge and a connector to the upper dimensional spaces. You are a soprano. You are an extremely upper dimensional royal feminine. You've been trapped here as a prisoner of war, and God has found you and restored you into your rightful position. Yet we've got a lot of pimps out there who are desperate to capture you once more so that they can use this secret weapon, this energy, and these upper dimensional powers that you carried in order to dominate people here. These war shippers of war, whether it be government or religion, really want this powerful force and gifts. They don't want the mother to be there as a contender for their authority in this realm. They want her crushed under their feet, using her own energy against her. They want others crushed under their feet, using her energy too. She's not in agreement with this. She never has been. She never was in agreement with the way that they were using her essence, her powers, her gifts to dominate and hurt others. But they created the illusion that that's what she wanted, and they tortured her, and they used every innocent, beautiful child all throughout its years in growing against her. She's fighting tooth and nail to keep these wacko psychos away from the soul of her family and community. She's not giving them charity when they intend on destroying her, her family, and her home, capturing the souls of the humans that she has been given some kind of she's been given some kind of a nurturing role, a caretaker role over this life. And these psychos, they want to chow on those souls, and she's standing there like, F off. Last time they convicted her of being a tyrant. They convicted her of wanting to dominate the entire world. They convicted her of wanting to manage and steal all of the money and not give it to anybody, when in fact she was not giving charity to pimps who were just there to sacrifice the womb of power and to dress up in it. These sorcerers, presenting themselves as husbands, were simply interdimensional pirates and thieves, RAPing the children that were coming from the beautiful womb of this divine mother that they refuse to allow to receive her initiation rewards and her ascension back into her upper dimensional family's territory. God the Father and Goddess the Mother are guiding her. These masculine pirates need to get out of her energy. These masculines want to take this feminine down and all upper dimensional powers that are connected to her. These pirates are trying hard to get this woman to let them in to the territory. They're saying they want to be of service, but to eat anything coming from their hands is to risk dying because they want you to die. These are vampires who want to step into your skin and wear your identity. And this mother is trying to keep them out so that they cannot do this. Of course, they're lying through their teeth, casting mental illusions, and trying desperately to get this woman convicted of some false crime. They want to transfer everything that she owns in prophecy to their own self. I don't know what she owns in prophecy, but I do know that she is the universal gatekeeper, which makes her the head honcho when it comes to planetary gatekeepers, which means that whoever, the Satan or whoever who has been dominating this gatekeep position for the humans on this earth, who have been stealing their ascension and initiation rewards and gifts, dominating these beautiful people who have actually earned these rewards by red rumming them in a most brutal fashion at the gate. and then recycling them back through for another life of stagnancy and lack and suffering. So it sounds like a masculine is telling these other masculines that they chose to augment themselves with AI. They chose to separate themselves from source creation. It is not the Divine Mother's responsibility to make it okay for them. They cannot force her to give them her life force. They cannot force her to give up her purpose of healing and nurturing life, of the actual living, just because they effed up their opportunity for life. She is not to be used as an antidote to their screw up and choice for their own life. She's not responsible to fix it for them. They're talking about a vacation resort, and the curator is saying that she needs her medicine. So they want to take you on a vacation. Maybe you're going on a vacation and they want to snatch you there. They want to do something there. They think they have the right to harvest you, the soul value of you, or anyone using their sick care medicine. They're talking about liposuction for the second time. They have been complaining about this magistrate's belly. She doesn't get a rise out of them. You know, I mean, these fellas, they make all of their decisions on whether or not they can get a stiffy. If it makes them hard, then it's yes. If it doesn't make them hard, then it's a no. Apparently, this magistrate doesn't make them hard, but they are wanting all of her universal gatekeeper, planetary gate, all of this authority, the Rainbow Covenant, her soul value, all of her clairs, her gifts, they want it all, and they want to present themselves in this upper dimensional space as her in order to frame her as a terrorist, as a brutalizer, as a malicious one, a tyrant, a dominator, a destroyer. So they want to suck all that fat out of your belly and make you all purty so that they can get a stiffy. They're speaking of this woman who isolates herself. They're talking about getting married. They need to get married to this energy in order to transfer the soul value and all of the clairs and the upper dimensional membership properly. Apparently, she is avoiding these masculines and their catfish and copycats like the plague. They're trying to bribe someone. They're saying that they're going to double this masculine's salary if they can tap, tag, marry, trap, gain access to, and control over all of these gifts, this universal gatekeeper position, the planetary gatekeeper position, all of the wealth that goes with that, the Rainbow Covenant holder, access to this sopranos, upper dimensional, upper echelon in the hierarchy system of the universal things, multiversal things. They want to present themselves as her, but they need a contract, they need an energetic entanglement, they need permission. They want to come in and dress like you, honey. They want to be you. So they're trying to bribe a masculine. They're going to double his salary. Earlier, they were talking about the secretary. They might be talking about somebody there. A masculine is saying that a Democrat. So it's like they're trying to play a political gain. And they're trying to gain political strength by harvesting, contracting, or claiming the authority of a powerful single woman. They want the powers of this universal gatekeeper. They need to get married to it, and they're offering to double the salary of a pimp, a prostitute, a gigolo piece of shit who's gonna go pimp himself or prostitute himself in order to gain access to these powers. They want to use her to fuel their own democratic purpose. but they would sacrifice and replace her at whatever point just because they don't want her. They just need the covenants and the authority and the power. They are clever enough to make it sound like an opportunity, so beware. None of these people are in the positions that they are in because of their own merit. They have married somebody who had the merit, and then they got rid of them. They want to use this magistrate's power and authority to fuel their own agenda of domination. When she is here and given that authority, because she is about restoration, nurturing, and healing. They dislike her belly, and they want her to get liposuction so that if they choose to marry her, they can at least pretend that they're turned on by her. Poor Peter just isn't too excited. But his master is offering to double his salary, so he might just agree. He's a whore, a prostitute who wants access to a powerful queen bee energy and the source creator essence connections to these upper dimensional hierarchy spaces. May the Most High God and this family of this upper dimensional space be aware of these plans and destroy them for even having the freaking intention of doing such a thing in this upper dimensional space, because they're a bunch of losers and they will never gain access into these upper dimensional spaces without being a pirate and a red rumming thief. They want to schmooze this woman. They want to gain an energetic entanglement and then transfer her soul value and all of the covenants and authorities that she has been given to themselves. They want to transfer everything that she possesses, everything that she has been given in prophecy, to their own self, and then command it while getting rid of her, like they did last time. None of these men have succeeded because of their own merit or ability. None of these men are where they are based on their own production or God-granted position of authority. Beware of the parasite snake wanting to share a weeping stiffy with you. It's an energetic entanglement with intent to harvest your soul value and your divine source permissions and strength. I'm sorry, but that's the truth of it. Marriage may not be safe for you right now. There's still a pest control going on, and what will follow is this magistrate and these divine mothers using their reclaimed, emancipated energy and gifts to heal the planet from the damage that these pests, these uninvited guests, these misogynistic, parasitical vampires using the divine feminine as a host, piggybacking their way into the heavens. They need your merit. They need your protection. Someone is saying that another person actually lived in this house in 1979. There's a female talking about having a magical death. So she might be wanting to frame her death. She might be wanting to have another female have a magical death. But it is like if they participated in premeditated, pre-transitioning or KILLing of someone for gain. That, if they took somebody's life using magic, that they're getting kicked out of the territory. They are red rummers and thieves. They're red rummers and thieves of good, loving people who had something to live for, who actually belonged in these upper dimensional spaces. They're talking about selected or selecting pedophiles. So what? Selected or selecting pedophiles? These masculines, these nasty, dirty Petes or whatever, they're talking about selected or selecting pedophiles. I don't know what that means. They want these pedophiles into these upper dimensional spaces because they want the children to be RAP'd and mentally and spiritually and soul fractured by the trauma that they will endure. This is what these nasties want to bring into these upper echelon families. And they do it by behaving as a false plane and then magically driving the minds of these beautiful, delicate transmitter receivers of organic source connected. They drive the mind into a belief with their stupid sorcery and witchcraft, their sex magic and whatnot. And then they kind of step in. But that's over. God discovered some stuff and kind of stuff is happening. Some stuff is happening. So somebody asked another or said to another, you don't have a wife, blah, 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 blah. So they want to get a masculine to come in and tag this woman with a sexual encounter. But she knows if they're married. She knows if they have ulterior motives. She's psychic. She's an upper dimensional demigoddess or earth angel. So there are some gigolos that are in this space falsely. They don't belong there. And they're discussing tagging her, which means having an sexual encounter and then setting a hook into the spiritual vaginal cavity so they can pull off of the sacral, the womb of power. That's how they've been doing it. At least that was my experience. And that is my perception over what happened to me and what I've been gathering and picking up through all of these psychic messages and story time. So she can pick up on their lies instantly. So they're paranoid to go up and try to talk to her because she can see clearly what's going on with them. This curator is saying that she has no idea what happens to the dignitary. Now, the story has it that Satan owns or operates the planetary gate, and he has been trapping here earth angels through cycles of stagnancy and suffering while at the gate, brutalizing them, flipping and copycatting them, and then transporting or transferring their soul value, their identity, their memories, their energy into a copycat or their own damn selves. And then they step into this upper dimensional space simply so that they can wed your true person and then eventually sacrifice them too, and then step up this one who started the whole role, right? So these upper dimensional spaces are like crawling with lower vibrational vampires because of this soul harvesting, destiny swapping kind of a thing. So somebody is in this space, they don't have a wife yet, and they are in communication with this curator who's been doing business, sex trafficking and slave trading humanity, and these earth angels, they've been keeping them here in this terrible circumstance while their vampiric, low vibrational Jezebels from the lower dimensional spaces have been lifted up through this sacrifice transfer of wealth and status to create war in these upper dimensional spaces wearing the divine face of an actual angel. So they want to get this masculine to tag this woman, but she knows what's going on here. So they think that because she's the dignitary, the magistrate, the lawmaker, the universal gatekeeper, therefore the planetary gatekeeper, they think that this Satan, which in the past they have stated, the Satan, this group collective called the Satan or whatever, they said that they were going to unalive the strongest two, the strongest power couple, female, and her protector, masculine, their spiritual spouse. So they said that they were going to unalive the strongest two who were going to have this planetary gatekeeper position, the universal gatekeeper position, or whatever it is this is. So they've done this for thousands of years. They've been harvesting this initiation reward and this ascension. So at the gate for many lifetimes, thousands of years, this has been going on. But the Most High God is actually here now, and these Star Nation soul tribes are aware of this, of what's been happening here, and I believe they are all present here to bring about a shift. This isn't going to be a partial reset. This is going to be an entirely new shift. And those who once had power and authority falsely by pirating divine souls are losing their foothold. So in the past, the spiritual spouse caved. They had betrayed this divine feminine, this royal Cinderella, because he didn't believe that she or her love was powerful enough to survive these parasitical interdimensional pimps, these brutalizers, these slavers, these pirates. So he sold her out for a double in his salary. And that is why, that's the business that these guys do. They don't believe that love is strong enough to overtake this. But guess what? This magistrate on her own, in her most weak, vulnerable status, overpowered all of these nasties. None of them could beat her. She beat, I guess, a sumo wrestler. She's overtaken two of their planetary Guinness Book of World Records, the Satan. She's outdone two of their records. None of these masculines, as a singular or as a group, could make her fail. None of them could. They're embarrassed. And the only way that they can get this kind of authority is to marry it and then transfer it out. To kidnap it and then torture it into South Node, and then technologically, however they do it, transfer their soul and the soul value and the identity and all of that at the Brighter's Day clinics or whatever they do. I don't know. Sanitize your mind, steal your memories. That's what's happened lifetime after lifetime. We who have been going through these short lifespans and brutal deaths orchestrated by these ones to gather as much suffering energy as possible, because it's all money for them. They sell it. The more you suffer, the more powerful the energy, the more valuable it's worth. And it's a gig, man. And these guys have been using this planet as a business to do this kinds of a stuff. And this magistrate, this divine mother, is like, what the F, man? Get off the souls of my family. Leave the children alone. And they're furious about it. So somebody's being bribed, and it could be a secretary with a double salary if they go and try to pimp themselves or prostitute themselves to this magistrate. They need to gain access to this authority. And the only way they can get it is to marry it and then get rid of the original covenant holder. These are not protectors. These are betrayers of mothers, wives, family, and God. And Goddess, mother, most of all, who matched this royal daughter into a marriage with somebody who betrayed her and sold her out to the devil. He betrayed God. He betrayed this upper dimensional family who selected this husband, who believed that he had their best interest at heart. So, yeah, she's a direct descendant of a royal lineage. They are going after her protector to sway him with temptation. They've been flashing little dancing, beautifully flat-bellied women in his third eye, brown skin, white skin, so beautiful. And they're telling him that all he has to do is sacrifice this beautiful, powerful feminine and trap her into the shadows, and then they can pull off of her her essence, her power, her gifts, her whatever, and then they can still use her as a bridge and a connector into these upper dimensional spaces, and they can copycat her, dress somebody else up in her energy in her face, and still have access to these upper dimensional spaces, but then they have complete control over the identity and how it is presented in these upper dimensional spaces. They're trying to sway this woman's protector. They're trying to sway this woman's protector away from his God-appointed match. And I suppose we'll just have to wait and see if loyalty still exists in the heart of a man. So it's been doubtful because of this whole thing that we all know about now with this scamming and scheming and pirating of spiritual wealth and inheritance. But apparently this magistrate still trusts people, but she's got this magnificent intuition, so she knows when they're lying, you know, so I guess that's whatever. They have brutalized and tortured this magistrate for centuries. Many times they've burned her alive. They've actually nailed her to the cross and then given her sacrificed story, her gift to people, to the masculine, while taking credit for her gift and stealing all of her powers and authorities and all of that God intended for her. They wrapped her crown, cursed her crown, intercepted her messaging, and then presented the copycat as her. So this has been going on for centuries, so I really don't know. I mean, they've stolen her honor at the crossroads and her ascension rewards, her initiation progress and her rewards many lifetimes over the centuries. Over and over, they've knocked her out of her position and then tortured her to death back into another life of lack, stagnancy, brutality, while they have been enjoying the success that she earned in an upper dimensional space. They are all too weak to keep her from meeting the finish line, from completing, from winning every time, no matter how much they shut her down, how they torture her, how they deny her love, support, while they brutalize her and betray her loving heart over and over, every lifetime. All they have is a 3D red rum and a theft of life and wealth. That's all they got to offer anybody. That's the most powerful thing they have. And bombs that they have access to. Guns, knives, and that damn man suit made in the image of God, you know, with all those damn muscles and evil, malicious intent. These are fraudulent gatekeepers, pirates, universal pirates. So this magistrate, this divine feminine, is more, she's simply more powerful than they are. As a singular and as a collective, they come at her by themselves and then as a group in many different ways. But she walks, God walks with her, God support her, the mother is with her. They have vowed that these masculines won't be doing this again to her. So they are embarrassed because they can't cause her a failure or harvest her. And they're refusing to let the 3D world know about it. They don't want her gaining a 3D channel or some kind of announcement. They don't want the 3D world to know who she is and what kind of shit stories they have been weaving with this false royalty in many different spaces and places. They stole her life and her identity. They cannot do what she does. All they can do is pretend. And it's funny because they're the ones who have a need to be seen as royal. And she simply is, being and doing what she is without a need to be recognized. And yet she's beginning to be recognized, I believe. The illusions, the lies, everything they said about her, I think is proving itself to be a lie. They want to harvest her soul and give it to an actual beautifully dressed and perfectly scripted espionage agent, and then send them into this upper dimensional space, wearing her face and her energy, her memories. They've got this identity theft down pat, man. So this is their great effort to spy on and capture the humanity and their Star Nation soul tribe. They work to ensure these ascension gifts never make it home to that Star Nation soul tribe to empower them. So they make up a lie and they entrap the graduate and then take that reward for themselves and then use that reward to hurt the Star Nation soul tribes. They work diligently to keep all in stagnation while they harvest and claim dominion. May the Most High Mother Father throughout the many realms of the multiverse smash their head. Amen. And cancel their pirate existence. Aho. Things are different now. They will be known soon, I'm thinking. They're talking about Houston. And one masculine stated, they actually own this place. So what, a business? Houston? Does somebody actually own Houston? Does somebody actually own the planet? I believe so. God said that the land was going back to the original people, those prior to all of this genetic mutation and manipulation, these interbreeding and these weird breeding programs that they've had for the human mothers. Human beings have been given the land back. God stated that the original people, not these hybrids, fighting to re-harvest the reward of the original people. They're talking about an abduction. So they want to abduct this magistrate or somebody. Maybe somebody has been abducted. They want to kidnap this woman of authority to harvest her soul value and the covenants that she has received and the powers and the authority that she has been given. She won the fight with these powers and principalities, and they are pissed and embarrassed. The divine feminine, the divine mother, won the fight with these powers and principalities. The curse has been broken, and they're refusing to give this divine, powerful, universal gatekeeper, dignitary, public recognition. They want to abduct her and transfer these gifts and powers into their chosen one so that they can continue to dominate the energy source of human batteries or souls. They insist that they be given her back so that they can hurt her for humiliating them, for showing how truly weak they all are, and how truly powerful a divine feminine is when she's walking with the Most High Mother Father. Even when she is in her weakest state, shut down in every way, without guidance or protection. Faith of a mustard seed. And love for the inner divine is all it takes. Doesn't mean it's easy. They cannot beat this divine feminine, this upper dimensional family. They know who she is now, and her gifts are their gifts. These nasty jacks got to back off. They're not going to reclaim this woman. They're not going to be permitted to take these gifts and this power and use it to brutalize others again. These gifts and these powers will be utilized by this upper dimensional family, this upper dimensional hierarchical echelon family of the divine. They will utilize these gifts to make these nasty jacks back off. And that the nasty jacks continue pushing in. And they're talking about abducting this woman and then forcing a technological soul transfer. Everything that she has been given in prophecy they want. She doesn't have to fight with these men. She doesn't have to compete with these men or any of their chosen females. She doesn't have to argue with these ones about what is hers. All she needs to do is take what is hers and go to her community, wherever that is. And those who gambled her and lost just need to leave her alone. That's it. So they're talking about human sacrifice. That's how these vampires have been gaining access to the upper dimensional spaces and places. They've been sacrificing high vibrational, upper echelon ascended masters who have been trapped as prisoners of war for centuries and who have been emancipated. So it's getting interesting, folks. See you on the next one. Bye.